It is a strange thing how evil chooses to arrive. We expect it in thunderclaps, in monstrous forms, in things so grotesque they cannot be missed. But often evil does not roar. It sighs. It comes in quietly, almost politely, as if it belongs. You may not even have noticed when she left it in your room. You might have thought it a token, a keepsake, something innocent. And yet it sits there still, humming softly with malice. This is the great and dreadful truth. Cursed things are rarely ugly. They are often beautiful, familiar, and designed to be loved. That is how they keep their place in your home, and worse, in your heart. The object is cursed, yes, but not because it leaps off the shelf and snarls at you in the dark. No, its power is subtler than that. It lingers. It waits. It doesn't need to be loud. It knows your silence will do the work for it. It shifts the atmosphere of your thoughts, clouds the sharpness of your judgment, makes you forget what the room used to feel like before it came. You start to lose the sense of what was once yours, once safe, once sacred. It may be a necklace, a box, a mirror, a letter. The form hardly matters. What matters is what it carries, the weight of intentions long buried, the echoes of pain not yours, but now binding themselves to you, and a hunger for influence, for control, for chaos dressed as charm. And you, chosen one, not chosen because you are exceptional, but because you are needed. You have a decision to make. This is not a quest for the bold or the glamorous. It is, in its deepest core, a call to be clear-eyed in a world that begs for blindness. You must decide whether to keep the object and allow it to nest in the corner of your soul, or to act, to cast it out and reclaim the space that is truly yours. The cursed object does not simply take up physical room. It colonizes your spiritual geography, and the longer it stays, the more it whispers, and the less you remember that it is even speaking. There is a terrible comfort in ignoring the presence of a cursed thing. It is easier to pretend it is harmless than to face what it demands of you. But comfort is not your calling. You were chosen for courage. You were chosen not to be safe, but to be strong. And to be strong is not to be without fear. It is to stand in the presence of fear and still move forward. It is to pick up the cursed object, feel its chill, and still carry it out. Not because you aren't afraid, but because you understand the price of letting it remain. You may feel alone in this. Most people do not speak of such things, but that does not mean they do not happen. You are not the only one who has found something dark left behind by someone who smiled. There is a quiet fellowship of those who see what others deny, who resist what others accept. Every act of removal, every refusal to let darkness dwell quietly, adds another light to the unseen wall. There is a world behind this one, and it watches what you do with the things you are given, or the things left behind. So remove it. Do not wait. Do not explain it away. Take it and throw it far from where you sleep, where you dream, where you love. Cast it out with the authority of one who has seen through the veil and chosen the side of clarity. This is how curses are broken, not by wands or spells, but by the will of one who refuses to be mastered. You may not recall the exact moment she left it behind. Perhaps it was as subtle. A small object slipped into a drawer, a trinket left atop a shelf, a curious token tucked beneath your bed. It may not have looked strange, and that is precisely the danger. We imagine cursed things to be hideous, shrieking relics that writhe with visible evil. But most are far more clever. They are quiet, attractive, unassuming. They thrive not on spectacle, but on your hesitation. The object she left does not need to announce itself. It only needs to linger, and linger it has. Days pass, weeks perhaps, and you cannot name the discomfort in your room, only that it has grown. Your sleep is thinner, the silence is heavier, the air itself resists joy. This object, cursed though it is, has not assaulted you. That is not its way. It has seeped into the spaces between things. It does not need to scream when it can murmur, and you, unaware or unwilling, have allowed it to remain. Not because you are weak, but because you, like many before you, hoped that it meant nothing. It is a very human thing to pretend we are not haunted by what we cannot explain, but all objects, like people, carry something of their origins, and this one carries a shadow. It was touched by malice, shaped by bitterness, fed by a will not your own. It wants something, and the longer it stays, the more it takes. Now you must understand this. To be chosen is not to be immune. Quite the opposite. You were chosen because something in you resists the curse, not because you are untouched by it. And that resistance will cost you. You are not in a fable where heroes are blessed with ease and rescued at the last moment. No one is coming. There is only you and the cursed object, and the moment between keeping and casting out. Do not be fooled. Removing it will not be a simple act. It will resist, not physically perhaps, but spiritually. It will raise doubts. What if I'm wrong? What if it's harmless? What if it's mine? That last thought is the most dangerous, for it speaks with the voice of the object itself. But you must answer with action. Courage does not wait for certainty. You do not need all the answers before you do the right thing. Remove it, touch it if you must, but with intention. It may be wrapped in memory, tangled with grief, even bound to love once felt. That makes it no less dangerous. Evil often rides the coattails of things once precious, but sentiment is not sanctuary. Sentiment, if left unexamined, can become a tether to poison. This is the test. Not to feel nothing, but to feel deeply and still choose what is good. In casting it out, you are not simply cleaning a room. You are taking back dominion over your soul's terrain. The space you inhabit reflects the space within. Every object, every word spoken in that room, every silence endured, contributes to the architecture of your being. Do not let your temple host a trespasser. There is something holy about deciding what may dwell where you sleep and where you dream. When you remove the cursed thing, you do not just protect your future. You reassert that your will is still your own. And perhaps, as you place it far from your home, you will hear that thin cry of protest from whatever power once lived within it. Let it cry. Let it fade. It cannot follow where it is not fed. The world is full of such moments, small decisions that determine the course of hidden wars. You have already been chosen. Now you must choose back. She did not announce her leaving, nor did she explain the object she left behind. It may have been deliberate, or perhaps it was carelessly done, but there it is, still in your room. A small thing, maybe a polished stone, a delicate charm, an old letter, or some trinket that doesn't quite seem to fit. And yet you've let it stay. Why? Perhaps because it seemed too trivial to worry over. Perhaps because some part of you found it beautiful. But cursed things rarely look the part. Their power lies in disguise. They hide beneath the veneer of sentiment, of nostalgia, of mystery. They nestle into our lives not with force but with familiarity, and while you go about your days, they begin their quiet work. Not to possess you outright, that would be too crude. No, they do something more subtle. They shift your sense of what belongs and what does not. It begins with a discomfort you cannot name. You find yourself distracted more easily. Sleep comes harder. You hesitate to invite others into the room. You tell yourself it's nothing, just stress, just the season, just the weather. But that's how the curse works. It thrives on your rationalizations. It twists your silence into permission. It does not rush, it waits. This object, whatever it is, carries not only a memory but a will. Objects, like words, hold weight, and cursed ones hold more than weight. They hold intention. They are made to influence, not by changing what's outside you, but by slowly dulling what's within. Your discernment, your courage, your sense of what must be done. To be the chosen one is not to be given a crown or a sword. It is to be given the moment in which you see what others will not. It is to hear the silence that others ignore. And once you've seen it, you cannot unsee it. That object was left behind, yes, but it was left for a reason. Whether to test you or trap you, it no longer matters. The truth is this: it does not belong to you, and yet its presence now demands a response. This is where your part begins, not with grand speeches or mystical rituals, but with a simple act of decision. Will you remove it, or will you let it stay? Make no mistake, removing it will not be easy. The longer it's been there, the more tightly it has bound itself to your mind, your routine, your memory. You may even feel a kind of affection for it, though you cannot explain why. That is its defense. It will not fight you with fear, but with familiarity. It will remind you of her, of that night, of that feeling, and you will wonder, would removing it be disloyal? Would it be cruel? But you must understand, curses often travel through kindness. They do not scream, they echo. And they echo in the language you are least willing to question. So you must be willing to act even when your feelings protest. This is the discipline of the chosen, not to feel nothing, but to act rightly, despite everything you feel. Do not wait for certainty. There will be no angel to confirm it for you, no flare of light to declare your choice correct. There will only be your hand, your will, and the thing that does not belong. Take it, remove it. Not because you have no fear, but because fear is not your master. You were chosen because somewhere inside you knew that you could see the thing and still do what must be done. And when it's gone, when the object is far from your room, you will notice it. The air will clear. The silence will be silence again, not the tight-lipped hush of something hiding. You will breathe deeper. You may not know right away what you've done, but your spirit will. It will know that something unclean has left, and that something whole has returned. That is the work of the chosen. Not to banish with magic, but to choose clarity over comfort, action over delay, and truth over illusion. It began, as most troubling things do, with something small, a token left behind. You may not have noticed it at first. It didn't shimmer ominously or whisper in the dark. No, it blended in. It looked innocent, perhaps even sentimental. But cursed things rarely come with warning labels. They come with memories, with emotions, with meaning. That is their disguise. It might have been hers, a gift she forgot to take, or a piece of her that refused to leave, and you, being human, let it stay. You thought, what harm could it do? That thought was the first invitation. The harm isn't loud, it creeps. It builds slowly, like dust gathering in corners, or ivy climbing over stone. You start to feel uneasy in your own room. Something is off. You hesitate before entering. You avoid a glance at that part of the shelf, the drawer, the corner, but you tell yourself stories. I'm just tired. It's just old. I'm being foolish. These are not just thoughts. They are defenses built around denial. The cursed object wants you to rationalize it. It feeds on your tolerance. And still it waits. Never moving, but never passive. There's a truth no one tells you. Cursed things aren't always dangerous because of what they do. Sometimes their real power lies in what they stop you from doing. They numb you. They wrap around your will like a fog. Days pass, and you become slow to act, quick to excuse. You begin to forget what clarity felt like. That object begins to reshape the atmosphere, not only of your room, but of your heart. And here lies the deeper danger. It does not demand worship. It only needs to remain. Its victory is your inaction. You were chosen, not for glory, not because you're better, but because something within you still remembers the difference between what belongs and what does not. The world has no shortage of sleepers, people who live with cursed things and call them keepsakes. But you, something woke you. A whisper, a dream, a silence too heavy to ignore. That awakening is no accident. It is the beginning of your calling, but callings require response. They are not fulfilled by recognition alone. They require action. And action in this case is not dramatic. It is simple, hard, but simple. You must remove the object, take it out of your room, your house, your life. Do not wait for more signs. Do not wait for someone to confirm what you already feel in your bones. Cursed things do not scream when you hold them. They protest with guilt, with nostalgia, with doubt. That is their final defense. But you are stronger than that. You were not given the burden of seeing clearly just to tremble at the moment of decision. The act of removal is not just physical, it is spiritual. It is a line drawn in the soul. You are declaring that your space, yourself, is not a resting place for shadows. It is a quiet rebellion against the slow creep of darkness. And as you cast it out, whether into fire, earth, water, or forgetfulness, you will feel it, not a grand explosion, but a gentle exhale. This is the truth about being chosen. It is not about being right, it is about being willing. Willing to see, willing to feel, and still willing to act. You are not called because you have all the answers. You are called because you noticed the question. And that is where real strength begins. Not in power, but in perception, followed by the courage to obey its demands. The cursed object is not your burden to study or to pity. It is your burden to remove. It is a quiet thing, almost forgettable at first. She left it behind, intentionally or not. You can't say, but it remains in your room, a small object that doesn't quite belong. It doesn't pulse with darkness or glow with ominous light. It doesn't need to. That's not how curses work, not the real ones. The real danger lies in how harmless it seems. It nestles into your space with the confidence of something that expects to be overlooked. It might be pretty. It might even carry the scent of her. But you must understand, that is part of its nature. It is not the grotesque that curses you. It is the familiar. And the familiar, if left unchallenged, becomes sanctuary for things that should never have been invited. You begin to feel it before you truly see it. A restlessness in your room, a strange tiredness, a cold that doesn't touch the skin but settles in the mind. You try to dismiss it. How could something so small shift the entire atmosphere? You've walked by it 100 times without consequence. But the shift is not sudden, it is cumulative. You don't fall under its weight all at once. You sink inch by inch, thought by thought. What you don't realize is that it's not simply taking up space, it's drawing power from your silence. Every day you ignore it, it grows stronger. Not in size, not in volume, but in presence. Still, there is a part of you that knows. It doesn't need proof, it doesn't need explanation. It feels the object like a splinter in the soul. That part of you has stirred lately, hasn't it? Notice the way the light falls differently, the way your thoughts slow down near that corner. It whispers, "This should not be here." And yet you hesitate. That hesitation is part of the test, because the object isn't just cursed, it is clinging to memory, to emotion, to unfinished things, and it is hoping you will cling back. But you are not powerless. You were chosen, and that means something. Not chosen as the world defines it, with glory or applause, but chosen in the deeper, older way. Chosen because your spirit is still sensitive to wrongness. Chosen because you have not yet trained yourself to ignore what matters. You are the type who notices when a room feels different, even if everything looks the same. That gift is also a burden, because once you see, you are accountable, and now you see. The object remains, and your heart knows what must be done. To remove it is an act of quiet defiance. It will not shout. There will be no lightning when you lift it, no chorus when you cast it away. But that does not make the act small. In fact, its silence proves its importance. You do not defeat darkness by outshouting it, but by refusing to share your house with it. And so, you must act. Wrap it if you must. Do not touch it directly if your instincts tell you not to. Speak over it if words rise up. But more than anything, remove it. Far from your room, far from where you rest, think, dream, and speak. And once it is gone, you will feel the difference. It will not be loud, but the air will ease. The corners will breathe again. Your thoughts will find rhythm. That low hum of spiritual dissonance will finally still. You'll remember what clarity felt like, and in that remembering you'll understand what the object cost you. Days, perhaps weeks, of heaviness you never named. This is the hidden work of the chosen, not to fight great beasts, but to notice the quiet curse and refuse to live beside it. No one may praise you for it. No one may even know, but the room will know, the silence will know, and you will know, and sometimes that is how the world begins to heal. One quiet room reclaimed,